Hello, hello. It's Kyle Shannon with the AI Learning Lab. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday night. We'll wait for some people to get in here before we start the excitement. Hello, Tobias. How are you? Good to see you. Emilio's wife. Good eve indeed. It's Friday. Here we are. Doing what we do. Welcome, everybody. The AI Learning Lab is where you have stumbled upon. I am your AI Learning Lab, host. This is the AI Learning Lab. The Salon.ai is a salon that I started, which is a community that gets together bi-weekly at meetings where we have guests. We have a cool guest coming this week, a guy that runs a post-production company, and he's been rolling AI into his post-production work. And Everyday AI News, that's our Twitter handle for a newsletter that I put together with Greg Mushin. And this is the AI Learning Lab. Feel free to drop whatever you call it. Oh, I learned so much last time from you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Tobias. I appreciate the kind words. If you have questions about AI, pop them in the comments below. If you're sitting there thinking, who the hell is this guy and what the hell does he know about AI? Not a lot. I'm learning with you. As I'm learning, I'm sharing. I am an entrepreneur of many, many years. I still don't have dual camera. They did not give it back to me. No. So I have to flip back and forth like this, like a plebe. I know. I'm right there with you. Wow, it looks like a bunch of people just joined. So, hello. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. We talk about things AI here. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts about AI, pop them below. I do my best to answer everyone I can. I'm an entrepreneur. I've started, 12 or 15 companies. I'm a co-founder and CEO of a company called Storyvine, which is a automated video platform. We've been around for 11 years or so. And interestingly enough, these days we automate video production, but we have not used AI to automate the video production. We're starting to use AI now to do things like do automatic transcriptions and create omni-channel content off of videos. So lots and lots of things like that. And what else? Let me show you some things. I don't have dual cameras, which is the bane of my existence these days. But if that's my only problem, we're doing all right. So these URLs here, if you've not played with ChatGPT, that top URL, chat.openai.com, that's the official ChatGPT website. Go there and start playing while I ramble on. And then Bing.com is also ChatGPT. If you go to the chat button there, it's GPT-4. It's connected to the internet and it's free. I don't think it's quite as good as the official ChatGPT website, but it's still there and it's free. And then Poe.com has lots of options as well, a lot of different models you can play with. Prompts.chat is super cool. That will teach you about prompting in general if you don't quite know what's going on with that. And then FuturePD is just a big old list of tools. I'm not affiliated with any of those. I just think they're super cool. You probably don't have the lights on quite as bright. You may be more comfortable. I don't know. They're still pretty bright here. Do I look darker? Interesting. I don't know. Possible. Let me see. Am I looking all... let's see. No. A little brighter. Anyway, welcome to the AI Learning Lab. One of the things I like to kick off, if you've got questions about AI, pop them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. But one of the things that... I think it's important why I started this channel and why I'm doing this. I was lucky enough to be in New York City when the World Wide Web kind of came on the scene and started one of the early digital agencies, and kind of had some big epiphanies around the World Wide Web and what it was going to do to the world, and started this company called agency.com. And what's happening right now with generative AI, there are some massive parallels to what was going on then. I think this is a big deal, like that was a big deal. But I think that this AI stuff is coming faster and more profoundly. So let's see. Greetings, Kyle. Bourbon happening? I might do bourbon tonight. Although I just ate dinner. I'm a little full. I've got an ice cold agua. I guess some country might say agua. But I might do a little bourbon later. Saying you can darken the lights, sir. I see. I'm a little too bright. All right. There. I'm a little more colorful. Wait, I can turn this one off. If I turn this one off, now it'll be more dramatic. Drama. The drama of AI. It's very dramatic. All right. Very lovely. Can I day trade with AI? Well, you can day trade with day trading platforms. You can use AI to help you come up with strategies and bots and stop loss thingies and band engorgement strategies. I don't know shit about day trading, but yeah, you can. I mean, it can do a lot. If you haven't played with ChatGPT, go play with it. Will companies be able to tell when their employees use AI? Nope. And I guess my question will be, why would they care? So right now, ChatGPT is kind of this thing off to the side, and it's a little demonized. Like, what if someone uses ChatGPT? It's a very similar concern when the calculator came out. All the math professors were like, oh my God, people won't be able to add. What do we do? Let's protest. So we're in a very similar place right now. Here's something that's happening, similar to how calculators and spreadsheets, just became tools that we use. And people still learn math and know how to do math. Same kind of thing with these tools. Microsoft and Google both are taking their large language models, ChatGPT and Bard, respectively, and they're rolling them into Office 365 and Google Sheets and Docs and the Office suite for Google. These tools are going to be everywhere. They're going to be ubiquitous, and it's going to happen, probably pretty soon. Microsoft's already announced theirs. Google's already announced theirs. Microsoft is enjoying being a thorn in the side of Google for the past 6 months. So I have a feeling they're going to be pretty aggressive about it. Once it's ready, they'll probably push it out. I know I said that kind of glibly, like, does it matter if people use AI? What matters is if they use AI and they're not thoughtful about it, right? If they just say, here's a letter, I'm going to send it without reading it. There was a lawyer 2 weeks ago that wrote a legal brief with ChatGPT and handed it to a judge. And the judge went on ahead and checked the citations of the legal brief, and they were all fake. And then the judge said to the lawyer, dum-dum, come here. These are all fake. So if you do bad work, you can do bad work faster with ChatGPT. You can make money with ChatGPT, and you can do shitty work faster with ChatGPT. But you can also do really good work faster with ChatGPT. So if you have a tool that increases your employees' productivity by 30 or 40%, and it's the most powerful tool, known to the history of mankind, why would you not want your employees to use that, is a question I have. And listen, there are reasons right now why you wouldn't want to use it. It's new, it's early, it hallucinates, it's not perfect, it can be a crutch, all that sort of stuff is true. But this is a tool that's going to be quite ubiquitous. In my humble opinion. But Kyle, you're not humble. Oh, that's rough. That hurts. It's true. True. I'm going to give you that one. But, yeah. All right. AI makes decisions, web pages can't. Well, web pages that are programmed to make decisions can. But, AI can do some shit. It's not reasoning, but it can certainly help with that. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? Italians say aqua. I don't know enough Italian to even make a stupid saying. Aqua! Jesus. It's like I'm worldly without the world. Mercedes-Benz too. Yeah. If you didn't hear that, Emilio's wife tuned me in on this one yesterday, that Mercedes-Benz is rolling ChatGPT inside all the Mercy Doodles. So you can just talk to your car. Hey, ChatGPT, can you teach me how to make money with ChatGPT? I need to make a payment on a share Mercedes. But yeah, like these tools are going to be, they're going to become the interface for all the complicated systems we use, right? Imagine a thing, you know those car entertainment systems that are like more complicated than any computer you've ever used, and you can only figure out like 2% of them because they're so damn complicated, and you almost crash the car every time you try to change a screen. Well, imagine having a system smart enough that you could just ask it to do shit and it would do it, including like booking you a restaurant for the night, setting your map to take you there, sending flowers to your wife before dinner, all that sort of stuff, right? That's the kind of thing that's coming. So these are going to be everywhere. Oh boy, someone just spoke Italian. Emilio's wife. I can't read Italian, but thank you. I bet you used ChatGPT to translate that, didn't you? Not saying I don't like the idea of AI, but what do you think about the impact of an AI in a society where... Wait, what? Clone X. Where's the rest of your sentence? You didn't finish your sentence. What do I think about the impact of AI in a society where... What's the second half of the sentence, Clone X? I don't know how to answer you. Welcome, we're a small, intimate group on Friday night. Many people thought better of this. They're like, yeah, this doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. I'm out of here. I'm going to go get a bourbon. Do I know when Taffy will go live? I don't, but it's super cool. Plumbers will have work. Radiologists will go home with AI. Although, they've been calling for the demise of radiologists for about 10 years now. I think anywhere where you've got people's lives on the line, I think insurance companies are gonna ensure that human beings are in the loop for some time. If you've got questions about AI, pop them in the comments. Oh, Clonex, your second half of your comment was right next to the first one. I was looking for it somewhere below. So the question is, what do I think about the impact of AI in a society where profit is more important than human lives? Well, that is a mighty cynical point of view. Don't necessarily disagree with it. So I think it goes a couple of directions. I think companies that are owned by private equity firms and hedge funds and things like that are only looking at the bottom line, they're going to slash their staffs, right? They're going to say, 30 to 40% productivity increases, 30 to 40%. They'll probably say, okay, we now decree 50% cuts across the board. Deal with it. Let AI make up the rest. So there will be some of that. A lot of those displaced people also have access to these tools. So some percentage of those displaced people are going to use AI to create companies to go to compete with the companies that just laid them off. So that's going to be a thing. Some of those people are going to completely rediscover themselves and take, completely new career trajectories or, contribute to society in other ways. So there's that. Some of those people are going to just be displaced and it's going to be a fucking shit show. And that's going to be horrible. If it's at a big enough scale, then the government's going to have to deal with it, kind of like they, dealt with COVID, where here's a check or here's universal basic income or here's a something. I don't think this is going to be long term because AI, like the Industrial Revolution, got rid of a bunch of jobs, but it also created a bunch of new jobs. This is going to do something very, very similar. So that's the money grubbing pigs, the capitalist pigs are going to do that. I'll give you that. I don't think it's 100%. Blanket statements like, everybody, is for profits over people. I don't think that's a generally true statement. Some companies will say, oh, wait a minute, we could take on 30 or 40% more clients, or we could deliver 30 to 40% higher quality work, or we could cut our prices to sell more. Or we could have our people that right now, 30 to 40% of the work that our people do is low-level, soul-crushing work. So we're going to use AI to upskill them to do higher-level, soul-enriching work. And we're going to let the AI do the shitty work that no one wants to do anyway. And the quality of work and the quality of work experience for those employees is going to go up. It's going to get better. So that's a possibility as well. I mean, these are just tools, right? This is a tool, and this is a tool that a boss, I'm a CEO of a company right now. I could look at this and I could say, okay, I don't need these stinking people. I have a small company. Those are my family. I want to do everything I can to support them, and I want to make sure that our clients are getting great work too. So, yeah. So I don't think it's quite as black and white as you positioned it there, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. All right, let's get to some other questions, shall we? What do I think of AI certifications? If you're going into machine learning and the computer science side of things, into the infrastructure side or the development side of AI, sure. If you're talking about certifications for like ChatGPT, you can make money with ChatGPT. Buy my certification now. I think those are all bullshit because things are moving too fast and nobody knows anything. Like we don't know. There's all this talk about, prompt engineering is going to be the new job. Well, the tools are starting to prompt themselves, and the tools are going to get better and better at prompting themselves. So I think understanding how to do prompting is really important, but I think the specifics of how to do prompting today is going to be irrelevant 3 months from now. So I would be very careful of anyone positioning themselves as an expert in technology that's only been around for 6 months, that is literally changing week by week. If you're going into the computer science side of things, then of course go to Stanford and go to MIT, or go to the free courses at Stanford and MIT. I don't think you need to go to college anymore because we have tools that can do that shit for us now. Plumbers will work. I agree with that. I think the value of the trades are going to go up. They did finish the sentence. TikTok is just trash. TikTok took away my dual camera feature, that dum-dums. There used to be a little thing here where I could show you this on a regular basis. That would just be sitting there, and then I could occasionally go, oh, there's new people here. Go to those sites and do that shit, and I could point to stuff, but I can't point now. Why? Because TikTok hates me. How do I use AI to learn code for data analysis? Well, so you can just go to ChatGPT and start learning it, like have it teach you what it can do. So let's go. So right now I'm on just regular old ChatGPT. So this is GPT 3.5. So I'm going to say, I want to learn data analysis. Where do I begin? Question mark. That's great. Data analysis is a valuable skill. Understand the basics of statistics. Learn a programming language like Python and R are popular languages. Pandas, NumPy, MATLAB. Explore data visualization. Get hands-on experience with real data. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'm going to say, let's see. Can you give me some fake data to learn on? Certainly. Here's a sample of fake data. What might I do with this as a first step? So you don't need to watch me keep making up stupid things because I know nothing about data analysis. But you can do, if you've got a curiosity in this and even a small amount of competency in data analysis or even an interest in it, you can run down some significant rabbit holes. I can say, make me a table of, 8 columns of artificial data that would be interesting to analyze. So it made me a little Python script there. I want to say, can you put this in table format? And it will do that. So one thing you can do is think of ChatGPT less as, oh, that's a thing people write songs and poems with, and more as like the smartest coworker you've ever worked with, and just have that coworker start tutoring you. There's also go to YouTube and search for code interpreter for ChatGPT. So what code interpreter is it's a full-on data analysis engine that will be built into ChatGPT. It's not out yet. I don't have access to it, I don't think. Let me just go look and make sure they didn't give it to me overnight, because they do that sometimes. It's just turn shit on. No, it's not there. So what code interpreter is in your little chat box of ChatGPT, there's a little upload button, and you can upload data. You can upload like 100 megabyte Excel file full of data, and then you could say to it, what's interesting about this data? And it will give you a whole data analysis report. You could say, find any anomalies in the data, and it will find them. You can say, create these kind of charts that compare trend A to trend B, and it will write the Python code, generate the chart, and hand it to you. That's coming. That's coming soon. There's YouTube videos, code interpreter for ChatGPT. Just go to YouTube and watch them. And then when you pick your brains up that dripped out of your ears as you were watching the video, then go to ChatGPT and say, teach me how to do this. Because it's crazy. What's coming is crazy. Call centers will have exact same accent as the region of the person calling due to the voice. Wicked. Yeah, I think that's going to happen pretty quickly. My optimistic view of call centers is that the call centers that are these really frustrating experiences right now, where you can't understand the people and they're clueless and they have no power to do anything, are going to be replaced with synthetic voices that know everything. And then you take some of that money that you spend on a call center and you upskill your employees to be high-level customer service people. So you have essentially chatbots with synthesized voice that people talk to. But the chatbots are good enough to understand that, if this is a normal problem, I'll solve it, and they'll have some authority to solve it. But if this is a problem that's out of the ordinary, that's always the one when you have something out of the ordinary and you need to get to a person soon, that's the one where you're 3 hours on hold with 6 different people. That's just maddening. So imagine you're on with a chatbot. It quickly figures out that you have an anomaly in customer service, and it escalates you to a person that can actually help you. That could be a future that's coming. So I totally agree. I think the customer support business is going to transform completely. That can be used more on product. What? I don't know what that was in response to. Let's see. You could put a background up, silly. I don't know what you're talking about. What do I think of prompt libraries? I think they're interesting. I don't know. I just heard that IBM just created a generative AI center of excellence, and they have 1,000 people at IBM writing prompts. So they're creating a massive prompt library. I don't know how necessary they're going to be. Let me show you something. I'll show you something that is that for me kind of points to where this is headed. So there's a plugin called Prompt Perfect. So I'm going to go to plugins. I'm on GPT-4. I'm going to go to plugins. And I'm going to go turn off these other things. I'm going to turn on Prompt Perfect. I'm going to turn off trip.com. What else did I have turned on? So what I'm doing right now with prompts, you can install prompts. So what I see in this list here are things that I've installed. And then in any given session, you can activate up to 3 prompts. So I'm just turning on one called Prompt Perfect. And the way it works is if I type the word perfect in front of a prompt, perfect, and then I type in a crappy prompt like, let's see, write me a marketing plan for my gardening business. That's about as bad a prompt as you can write. But because I put perfect in front of it, it's going to fire up that plugin. And then it is going to, what did it do? It rewrote my crappy prompt. Please develop a comprehensive strategy for my gardening business that includes specific tactics and actions to promote our services, attract new customers, increase revenue. Please consider our target audience, competitive landscape, budget, unique selling points of our business. The plan should outline clear goals, timelines, metrics, and for measuring success. And so then it writes me a big-ass marketing plan on a much better prompt. So the whole idea of creating a prompt library based on today's capabilities just feels to me like some piece of that is going to be made obsolete probably sooner than later. I think here's why I think there's value in creating a prompt library is that in creating a prompt library, you'll really explore all the different ways you can prompt. I think the act of learning how to think of your native language as a programming language, that's a skill that is going to remain important. But I think the actual tactics of how we prompt today, I think that gets much more simple as the tools, I don't know, take over that task. That was very helpful. Great. I don't know. Do I have to have Python? No. So here's a cool thing. So this was my big epiphany with ChatGPT. Here, let me show you this. The thing that made me realize, holy shit, the world just changed. So I was like you, where I kind of knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't really know Python. So I said, write me a Python program that I don't know, whatever, takes inputs by asking 4 questions. And so it writes that thing. And then it even gave me an example answer. So here's the code. And I say, I don't know how to run Python. Can I run it on a website? ? Yes, you can run Python code on websites. There's some websites, Replit, Python Anywhere, Trinket.io, and online, right? So this was what I ended up doing, and I was just kind of dicking around with this thing, and within 90 minutes, I had written a Python application that was running in a website. I didn't have to install anything. I had to install a library on that website, but it taught me how to do that. And I really quickly got up to speed. So depending on what you're trying to accomplish, just have ChatGPT. You just keep like there's literally no shame in ChatGPT. Like it doesn't care if you don't know anything. One of the things that I've done with it is you can, if you've heard of GitHub. So GitHub is where geeks and engineers and programmers go to store their code and share their code and do all the codey shit, right? If you don't know coding, you go to GitHub, and it is a confusing nightmare of hell. Want to see? Watch. This will make your head hurt. If you thought you made a bad decision hanging out with me on a Friday night, now let's go to GitHub and check out the interface here. GitHub. Ba-bum-bum. Oh, wait. Let me go github.com/. Okay, here's one. Here's a project. Okay. So you go to GitHub. There's all this. There's all these links. There's folders. There's like .esl something ignore major overhaul and flow standardization number 113, and these are all hyperlinks 3 weeks ago. And then up here, there's notifications and forks and stars, and there's insights and security and projects. And like, you don't know, these are all related to this one project, but if you don't know what you're doing here, it's completely overwhelming. And if you know a little bit about GitHub, you know that there's one file here, this one, the README file, that is kind of the key to the kingdom. You wouldn't know that if you didn't know this, right? So if you go to the README file, it will tell you basically how to install this and what it does, and it tells you and it gives you some code, and then there's all these instructions. And if you know what you're doing, this makes it really easy to leverage this code, right? But here's what you can do. You can just copy this README file, copy all of it, paste it into ChatGPT, and then tell ChatGPT what system you're on, and please make you a step-by-step tutorial for how to install that GitHub repository, and do not move on to the next step until you've said okay to the previous step. And so it'll give you the first step, and if you don't understand it, you're like, I don't understand, and it'll give you a little tutorial of that step. And then you do that step, and when you're done with it, you say okay, and it moves on to the next step. So it's a kind of thing that if you're completely clueless about this technology stuff, but you're curious enough to try to figure some shit out, if you can kind of tinker with computer shit, ChatGPT can absolutely help you solve almost anything. And if you're good with code, then you're going to be able to just knock this shit out. You can go do some stuff. I am not. I'm a tinkerer. Like, so when I went to install Stable Diffusion, which is one of the image generation tools, I failed 9 times to get this thing called Automatic 1111, which is a web interface for Stable Diffusion. I failed 9 times trying to get it to run on Google Colab before I finally got it. And it was over a couple of months. Like I would try, I'd spend a couple hours, it would fail. I'd feel full of shame, like, I'm a dum-dum. I don't know how to do anything on computers anymore. I'm just old. That part's true. And then I'd go away for a few days, and then I'd come back, and I'd fail again, and then I finally got it. So all of this stuff depends on how hungry you are. One of the other things going on right now, we're very, very early in this inflection point. So ChatGPT kind of marks this new moment where these large language models are made available to like the rest of humanity. Previously, machine learning, and that was kind of researchers and data scientists and things like that. ChatGPT kind of marks this moment in time where in 6 weeks, 100 million people started using ChatGPT. 100 million, 6 weeks. It took the World Wide Web 6 years to get to that many users. So there's a bunch of people right now using these tools that are incredibly powerful, that don't necessarily know, all these complicated ways to stitch these tools together, and that's okay. We're very early. It's only been 6 months since this stuff came out. Give it a year, and all of the tools we're interfacing with right now will drift to the background, and people will come up with really slick interfaces on front of them, like Mercedes-Benz in their cars. I have an idea about a company that uses stories from humans to educate AI. Oh, that's kind of interesting. My only question on something like that is who would pay for it, and what's the value? Where's the value there, and who's going to actually do the paying for that? But it's interesting because I think that there is some fear that as the developer community uses AI to generate data to train other AI, there's a thing called model collapse where the models just collapse because there's sort of this point of diminishing returns with synthesized data. So there might be something there. But I just don't know if it's a big enough problem yet, or who would pay for it. But if you can solve that could be interesting. I think that one is interesting. I think a big one in 2 years is going to be authenticity and verification. I think authenticity, the ability to authenticate, is this article real? Is this person real? Is this live stream with Kyle real? That's going to get really important as synthesized people and data gets way more sophisticated. Wait for the 2024 presidential election in America, people. That's going to be a fucking party. What do you mean Joe Biden's French kissing a gorilla at the Cincinnati Zoo? Is he? There's video. Really? Have you seen it? 2 days before an election. You watch. It's going to be insane. It's going to be crazy. Going to be crazy. But there's going to be whole new industries that pop up because of that stuff. All right, let's see. I'm trying to find my place in the questions. This is one of my hobbies in these lives, is finding the questions. I'm also wearing, again, a light shirt that it's impossible to read text in front of, so I just don't learn my lessons. He's nice, but he seems a little slow. He seems a little thick in the head. He can't read it. He can't read the text, and he gets lost all the time. He seems clever, but he seems a little slow. I don't know. All right. What is the most effective way to use AI that you recommend? Let's see. Wilbert. I mean, it depends. So here's the most effective way to use AI that I know, is start with a problem. Don't start with the tool. I think, so look, let me show you what I find very intimidating. And I have ADD, so I'm generally good at coming up with shit to do on the fly. That right there is intimidating. It just looks like a Google search box, and it can do almost fucking anything. And so I sit here and I'm like, make me a poem. All right, there's a poem. Then make it a song, right? So like when you're just faced with a tool that can do almost anything, write me a computer program that plays that song. All right, there you go. Put it in a minor key. So, like, these are just parlor tricks, and it's like, what do you do with it? So the thing that I've found that makes the biggest difference is figure out something you're trying to do in your life. It can be really small. It could be, I don't know when to plant the tomatoes in my region. Go to ChatGPT and have it give you a planting schedule, and then have it tell you natural ways to fertilize tomatoes, and then say, what are some awesome tomato recipes, and when am I going to have a lot of tomatoes to eat, given my region and average picking time? Like the minute you give yourself a problem, then you can say, oh, let me go see if I can solve that with ChatGPT, or if I need an image, maybe I go to Midjourney or one of these other tools to play with it. So that's kind of the most effective way to use it, is don't start with the tool. That said, if you've never played with the tool, go play with the tool, right? Go start understanding the incredible depth of what that thing can do. That top URL there, chat.openai.com, is the official ChatGPT website. Just go there right now if you haven't gone there, and just start playing. You can't break it. It can do almost anything. Have fun with it. Do me a favor, if you could, tap the screen. I know a bunch of you are doing it now, but tap the screen so we get some hearts. And if you would, share this live so other people see it, because TikTok has decided that Friday night they're not gonna make this live available to anyone, because he doesn't get a dual camera and he doesn't get an audience. Because he's boring and he doesn't know how to wear shirts that make his text readable. Until your competition starts using AI instead of humans, you will have to wait. Until your competition starts using AI instead of humans, you'll have to do likewise. Well, I think that's right. I mean, that's why I think this stuff is coming fast. It's not so much that every company has to do it. It's that the companies that don't do it are going to get smacked upside the fucking head by companies that do. They're going to be like, wait, how did they deliver that so fast? Wait, they're charging how much to deliver that? and they're delivering it twice as fast? We can't do that. How are they doing? Oh, it's AI. Oh, Jesus Christ, Marge, we need to do AI. Does anybody know AI? I don't know. Sally used ChatGPT once. Sally, you're VP of AI. Let's figure this shit out. Like, that conversation's probably happening, right now across the world. Because someone just got their ass handed to them because someone else was using AI. And if it's not happening now, a year from now, it's going to be happening. So, the purpose of this channel is to get as many people as possible trying, right? Giving it a shot. All right, what do I think of prompt libraries? We talked about that one. You could put a background up, silly. Me? Possible. Why would I put a background up when I have this loveliness? I'm behind on my questions. I've answered all these. All right, the website addresses. Oh, you could put them on a background. Oh, and with the cleverness. Oh, hang on. Wait, do I have it? I'll have to. That's a good idea. That's good. This is. I mean, Kyle's nice, but he seems to need remedial help every once in a while. That's a good idea. I like it. I'm gonna have to turn this into. Hang on. Here, you can watch me as I do my live graphic support. What's it called? Housekeeping. So we're gonna go export. Quick export is PNG. TT live image. We'll go to desktop. We'll save it there. We're gonna go to. We're gonna go to Gmail, and I'm gonna send it to myself because I could do it in a more sophisticated way, but it takes too long. So my name's Kyle, and then I'm gonna go TTBG, and then we're gonna attach that TTBG that we put right there. We're gonna send it to ourselves. All right, now it's at least on my machine. All right, that's a really good idea. Thank you very much. Thanks for helping me. Do the basics. I'll get to that. As soon as I shut the live down, I'll do that on the next lives. And then what's going to happen the minute I start putting that background behind me. Then I'm going to get my live camera back, and then I'm not going to have the setup for it. It's going to be a mess. All right, I feel like plugins aren't that impressive. What am I missing? You're missing the fact that they're not that impressive. Oh, wait, that's not missing anything. They're not. They're kind of janky and shitty, and most of them. So a lot of them. So there was one that I was using called Link Reader, which all of a sudden just stopped working. And here's my thesis on it is this: it was like some dude that was like, oh, no, I'll make a plugin that can read someone's hyperlink, and I'll put that out there. And they probably just built it on some sort of API that charges them a nickel every time someone used it. And then a bunch of people used it, and he got a bill for like $150. He's like, I'm not paying that for these people. So the plugins are really easy to build right now, and there's not really a ton of vetting, and it's not clear how they work. And So here's how I'm looking at plugins right now. If you find one that's actually useful, like I think Prompt Perfect is actually useful. I think the PDF reader things are useful. If you find things that are like Wolfram Alpha, where you can ask it a sophisticated math problem and it fires off to Wolfram Alpha and solves it and brings you back the answer, cool. So right now they're just it's kind of like when I don't know if you remember this, but when the iPhone first came out, they didn't call them apps, they called them widgets, and widgets were just basically shitty little websites. They were like icons that took you to a website that couldn't do anything. And they were all just super simple, and people were like, what's the point? Why would I need a widget? I don't need a widget for this because I got a website that does that. And people were all bitching and whining. And then it turned into the App Store, and it got really sophisticated, and all of a sudden it changed the way we worked. And so I think plugins are going to be the same way. OpenAI also just announced or released a big update to their APIs. So for programmers who use it, there's a thing that they can do now where they can call functions, which is basically like calling a plugin. But you can you can set up a set of functions like calling your own data's APIs, and you can interact with a ChatGPT like window that's calling your own data. And so it's going to allow the developers to do really sophisticated applications with ChatGPT natively within the chat experience. So just give it some time. They kind of suck right now. Yeah, I would say bask in the glory of the simpleness of what's going on with plugins right now. Find ones that are cool and use those, and just don't worry too much about the fact that they suck. Where do you run your code, Kyle? I forget what site I ran it on, because I just wanted to see if you could do it. Let me see if I can. Let me go ask ChatGPT. What are sites that I can run Python code in a web window easily? It wasn't Replit. It wasn't Colab. Was it Replit? Hang on, let me go look at it. Was it Replit? My reps. Oh, it was Replit. It was Replit. REPLIT. Look, here, let me show you. This is the Python application that I wrote. I wonder if it still runs. Run. It's supposed to run in this window over here. Okay, enter the topic of the article. So wait, let me make this bigger. Okay, so this was the thing that I wrote that made me realize, holy shit, the world just changed. So this was back in December. I wrote this. So this is asking a bunch of input questions, and then it's taking those input questions and putting them inside of ChatGPT prompts and sending them off to OpenAI's API, and then generating social media content. So all this code, the only thing I did in it is I modified the prompts. Like I knew how to write prompts, and I knew kind of what temperature settings were, but all of the code and all of the formatting of the code, ChatGPT did. So I hit the run button at the top of the thing, and then over here it says enter the topic of the article. So we're going to do a bunch of social media content on fat dogs, because I have one and he just farted, and that's life. Why is this topic important? Because fat dogs are cute. What's the problem that needs to be solved? Gassy dogs. What is the solution to the problem? More fiber. What are the results of solving the problem? Happy dogs that don't smell. Now we'll see. My OpenAI key might not be live, and I probably just showed people my OpenAI key, but whatever. No, it didn't. My OpenAI key's dead. But anyway, this was a real eye opener for me. So ChatGPT told me about Replit. It wrote the code. When it didn't run, it told me how to install libraries. It helped me debug it. So anyway, yeah, that was it. All right, I want to help my organization analyze data because AI can write code. What code should I learn? I have no idea. Probably Python, but honestly, what's your name, Cody? Go watch, if you didn't hear me before, go watch videos on Code Interpreter that's coming from OpenAI. So it's going to be basically a new mode of ChatGPT. So let me show you what I'm talking about when I say a new mode. So if you're at ChatGPT and you have you have the plus subscription, right? You're paying $20 for it. You get access to GPT-4, and then you can turn on these beta options. See where it says beta right there? Let me make it a little bigger so you can see it. Beta. So right now there's Browse with Bing. So that's ChatGPT-4 connected to the internet, and then there's plugins. There's a new mode called Code Interpreter that can do full-on data analysis. So just go watch YouTube videos on that, and yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. It will make your face melt. It will make your face melt. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum. Bow. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm an automation validation engineer manager. I have ideas about truth verification. That's super cool. That's a crazy title, Dell. Automation validation engineer manager. Dang. You got some gray matter going on there, Dell. Yeah, I think that I think truth verification. I think in the end, AI is going to drive adoption of tokenization technologies like blockchain and NFTs and whatever the new flavor of that shit is. It doesn't have to be blockchain necessarily, but that's a version that I think could be a solution to some of these problems, right? I create a piece of content, I tokenize that, and then that verification goes with it. And so I can tell the difference between this came from the Washington Post and this looks like it came from the Washington Post, but it's not verified. So I think that's going to be important. And I also do think, I was being a little flip before, but like being able to tell the difference between synthesized video content and real video content. Right now you can tell, but a year from now, I don't think you're going to be able to tell. I think it's going to get really, really scary and sophisticated. And so I think those kind of verification technologies are going to be super important. We never said you were clever, Kyle. You're cute. You're cute. Like I said, my trolls are fun. All right, everybody shared my live and no one else came. TikTok hates me tonight, but it's just a small one of us. Okay, do you have to pay to make a plugin in Poe? You don't really make plugins in Poe. Well, wait. So you can make a bot in Poe for free, but it's not a plugin. You can make plugins for ChatGPT for free, but you got to code. There's like 3 little pieces of code. Let's actually, you know what we should do? Flip your camera. We'll do this together. I'll show you both things. So I'm going to go to GPT-4 connected to the internet. Can you teach me how to write a chat GPT plugin, and I'm going to say with the latest documentation? That should fire off a web search. Yeah, browsing the web. OpenAI ChatGPT 3 plugin documentation. So it found it. That's good. It clicked on it. That's good. Going back to the last page. So I think what it's doing right now is reading the documentation. Isn't this slick when you watch this stuff do this? It's like this thing's just off surfing the web for us. It's like, dun, 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 dun. How to create a ChatGPT plugin, the OpenAI master. So it went to a different site. It looks like it's gone to 3 different sites now. So it searched Bing for the plugin documentation. Then it searched Bing for how to write a plugin. Now it's gone to a couple other sites. So it's out there learning. This is kind of cool. Now it clicked on all this stuff. I don't know if it can read all that stuff. Exploring the future of artificial intelligence, OpenAI master. All right, here's a brief summary of the information I found. They first have to build an API that will be used to interact with the plugin. After building the API, they've got to create a manifest, which basically describes the plugin and like when you would use it. Once the API and the manifest are created, the plugin needs to be registered with the ChatGPT UI. All right, so after testing a plugin, you build and deploy it. Build and deploy, create a manifest file, build an API, host the manifest file, deploy the plugin. So again, all of this stuff, if you know coding, this is all relatively straightforward. But let's say, write me an example API to a free weather service. So it's off searching the web again. Reading content failed, so that happens sometimes. So it's out trying to find us an answer. All right, so anyway, you can, this is just boring right now, but you can see what it does. So writing a plugin file requires you writing these pieces of code. You have to write an API. Poe, let's flip over to Poe for a second. So Poe, okay, so when you first get to Poe, you're on this thing called Sage. So down the left-hand side of Poe, you've got all these different, the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. These are different ChatGPT-like large language models. Then the things below them are bots, and you can make your own bots. Like I've made, I don't know, like a dozen of them. I made Emily Dickinson. I am Steve Jobs. I am Jay-Z. I am Maya Angelou. I am Mary Shelley, Virginia Woolf. I am Poe. So that one writes like Edgar Allan Poe. That's very depressing. If you go to poe.com/IamPoe, that's a bot that I wrote that acts like Edgar Allan Poe, and it's very depressing because he's a very dark man. Okay, so you can just use the ChatGPT things up here. You can go find, if you go to explore bots, it takes you to like a bot store where you can go look at other people's bots. Like there's a DALL-E bot to do DALL-E image things. There's a Roast Master, Prompt Genius, HTML Machine, right? So there's all these bots that people have created. So they're not plugins, but they're just bots. Like if I click on one of these, let's go find a fun one. Ask Tiger Mom. That's pretty funny. Article bot. Generate a high quality article that's optimized for search engines based on a provided topic. This is like that app that I wrote in Python. So someone just turned it into a bot. So I'm going to say, write me an article. We'll see how good this thing is on fat dogs. Boom. Dangers of obesity. I don't want to shame fat dogs. I want to celebrate them. Please write an article for that. The beauty of chubby dogs. Boom. And it automatically made the bullet points and these different sections. And so I'm sure that they wrote, I wonder if they let us see no, they're not letting us see their prompt. But anyway, so how you create one of these bots is you go down here on the left-hand side and there's this option to create a bot. And this is free. They want you doing this. So I can say, let's see, what might be a fun one to do. Let's see. Ricky Bobby. I'm going to do I am Ricky Bobby. This is a bot that talks like Ricky Bobby. Or Ricky Booby. Ricky Bobby. From Talladega Nights. So that's the bot description. You can choose one of two models, and then the prompt. You are Ricky Bobby from the movie, and all of your responses should be racing cliches no matter what anyone asks. And then the intro message, if you ain't first, you're last. And you can turn on or off whether you want it publicly accessible. I want it publicly accessible. And then I can even put a picture there. So I could go to Midjourney and create a picture of Ricky Bobby. So now I say create bot. And it says, if you ain't first, you're last. And I'm going to type in here, why is the sky blue? Question mark. Because the good Lord likes to watch us race almost as much as we like to race. Hallelujah and amen. Right? So in however long that took, probably too long for a live. But in a few minutes there, if I did some decent prompt crafting with that, you could actually get that thing to be pretty fun. I did one the other day that writes, it only responds in screenplay dialogue. So that was pretty fun. Yeah. So that's the difference between plugins and bots in Poe. So I hope that helps. All right. Let's see. Is it free to make a bot on Poe? Yes, it is. This isn't boring. This is exciting. Awesome, Sonia. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, let me go back and figure out where I was in my little question lists. We have 27 people here. If you're new here, my name is Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. We have a small, intimate group tonight. Normally, there are thousands. No, there aren't. But but happy Friday. I'm here to talk about AI stuff. I'll show what I can. I'm learning this stuff on the fly, sharing what I know. And if you have not used ChatGPT yet, go there. Chat.openai.com. That's the official ChatGPT website right there. Bing is also ChatGPT. If you click on their chat button, that's ChatGPT connected to the internet, and it's free. And then Poe.com, I was just showing you, you can make bots on that, and you can use a bunch of different ChatGPT models there. All of these are worth at least exploring. My favorite, why it's on top, is the official ChatGPT website. I still think it's better than other things. And so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to figure out where I was in my questions, because I like to answer all the questions that people ask. But sometimes I get lost because I'm old. They did finish the sentence. TikTok is just trash. What do you think of AI certifications? I'm way past this. Hold, please. Old man navigating technology. This could be a while. What you doing your Friday night? I don't know. Watch some old guy try to use TikTok. It was kind of amusing. Wow, that was very helpful. Do I have to have Python? I have an idea. Okay, wait. We talked about that. I'm almost there. People. This is going to be so worth it when I get to the questions. It's going to be so good. API.ai tried to open their version in 2016 and the world crapped their input all over it. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. But we're in a different place now. I mean, 2016 was pre-Transformer, so the Transformer, the thing that made all of these AI tools as powerful as they are, it was invented in 2017, and it didn't really hit its stride until the past 2 or 3 years. TensorFlow, Google's version, yeah. Do you have to pay to make a plugin? No. What's the goal here? The goal here, Luigi the Fig Tree, is to acknowledge clever names of TikTokers. So Luigi the Fig Tree is pretty good. The goal here, so I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for, 30, 35 years, 40 years. I've started 12 or 15 companies. I was there at the early days of the World Wide Web. I started a company called agency.com, which was one of the first digital agencies in 1994. And the parallels between the early days of the web and what's going on right now with generative AI are insane. And I think that what's coming from with generative AI, the ChatGPT sort of lit a fire in the technology world and in the world that I think is going to be profoundly transformative and disruptive, and it's coming way faster than anyone knows. And so the purpose of this channel is just to talk about this stuff, demystify it as much as I can, educate people, get people to try shit, get people off just dismissing it and being afraid of it. The robots are going to kill us. I don't want to play with that robot. It's going to kill us. I heard it lies. It's stupid. I heard it doesn't tell the truth all the time. You shouldn't use it. I want to stop those attitudes and replace them with people who've actually used the technology. And then if you feel that way, I'm cool with that. But if you haven't used them, I think it's really important for everyone to at least explore it. And so that's why this is here. All right. Hilbert Space, like reverse blockchain stuff, kind of. TensorFlow. Can I demo some generative fill backgrounds in Adobe Photoshop? I can. So let me go do that. The generative fill stuff is really fun. If you've got other questions, pop them in the chat. And if you haven't seen image generation, it's pretty remarkable. So the background on this image is generative fill. So if I turn off the generative fill that I created, that was the original image. And then I told generative fill to fill in that background. But let me go get a different image. Actually, you know what we'll do? I'm gonna go over. Let's go over. We're gonna create something in Midjourney, or maybe I'll just grab something. So the images that you're seeing here. So to use Midjourney is one of these image generation tools, and you have to go into Discord to use it. Can I do it on some famous paintings? Yeah, I can do that. Let me just explain Midjourney really quick. So in Discord, you have these things over here that are servers. Within a server, think of a server as a community of people. Then within a server, you have these channels, and for each of these channels, you have a conversation. And this is the AI Salon, which is a thing that I started, and this is our server, and we have a Midjourney channel. And then to make an image in Midjourney, you type /imagine, and then you type in a prompt, right? So blah, 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 blah. And then depending on what you ask it to build, it'll build you that image. And then we can take that image and we can go to Photoshop and use generative fill to extend it. But there was a request to do this with famous paintings. So let's see, what would be a good one? I don't know. We'll go, let's say famous paintings. I want one that's famous, but not one that everyone uses. See all images. Any requests? We could do the Scream. Oh, this is a cool one. Here are the 35 most famous paintings ever created. Let's go grab one. Oh, that's a nice. Is that Degas? Famous oil paintings. That one's beautiful. All right, this is actually a good one, right? It's a close-up of her in a boat. Who's this? Enchanted Spell. The Lady of Shalott. John Waterhouse. I don't know this artist, but that doesn't matter. We're going to copy the image. Then we're going to go over to Photoshop Beta. So if you want to use generative fill, if you've got access to Adobe Creative Cloud, you go to your beta apps and download Photoshop Beta. And so now I'm going to say new. I'm going to create a new image and paste in that painting we just grabbed. And I am going to, actually you can see it pretty good there, but let me change the levels a little bit, brighten up the center. We'll crunch this thing down a bit so it's a bit more. Okay. All right, so there's our thing. So now I'm going to make it a little bit smaller on the screen, and I'm going to grab the crop tool, and I'm going to extend this out to the sides. And I'm going to extend it higher, and I'm going to extend it lower. And so then what I'm going to do, so now we've got, that famous painting in the middle of this, and we got all the white space around it. So I'm going to take the selection tool, and I'm going to select the painting itself. Then I'm going to invert the selection. And you'll notice down at the bottom here, there's this contextual menu. And the button on the far left says generative fill. And I click generative fill. I'm not going to say anything. I could say, put her in the middle of a lava field, or, put her in the middle of a raging river. But I'm not going to say anything. It's just going to analyze what's in the painting, and it will fill in all the rest. So we have this little progress bar up top. And it's going to give us 3 different options for the background. Bang. I mean, I don't know. Not for nothing. That doesn't suck. Do you know how long it would take you to Photoshop that? Like, even to that level, like, even if you don't like that, like, that's pretty impressive. And then there's 2 other, like, that one's really pretty. Like, I love the little, the light on the pond to the left. Oh, and that's one where she's in all sorts of thickets. This is, she is, there's a lot going on in this one. So we'll keep that one. And then you can do things like you could zoom in, and she's got this blanket here. So and there's this kind of circle with a horse in it. So let's select this whole blanket. I'm going to go around her hand. I'm just going to grab the blanket. And let's say, let's make this, I'm going to say generative fill. I'm going to say Hudson Bay blanket. And let's see if it knows what a Hudson Bay blanket is, but if it actually matches the style of the painting. That's not a Hudson Bay blanket. Oh, that's kind of cool. That just kind of extended her dress over the side. So that one's not bad. We'll go with that one. And so that's generative fill. And like, I can go out here. Let's put in the background back here. Let's put in generative fill hippopotamus. So she's in grave danger, but she doesn't know it yet because there's a hippo. There's a hippo in her pond. You know why you use AI? Because you can entertain yourself with it. That's why. All right, that's the one. So... Oh, the masters are turning in their graves. First that it extended that painting, but second, you can not, you can't do that. There's no crying in baseball. Hey, everybody. I don't think we have anyone new here, but if you're new here, this is the AI Learning Lab. We're learning about AI and generative fill and shit like that. Go to chat.openai.com if you've never used ChatGPT. Just go use it. Just trust me. Don't be a poo-poo head and be like, I don't want to learn anything new. I heard it makes mistakes. I don't want to try it, Kyle. Wait, your name's Kyle? Isn't that a girl's name? You kind of look like Rosie O'Donnell. All right. We're breathing. All right, let's see. Can I demo some generative AI fills? I just did that. Can you do it on some famous paintings? I just did that. Check. Done. Done for you. You ask, ye shall receive. I asked ChatGPT to write a C subroutine to compute the moon's position, and it said it's too hard. Oh, baloney. Let's go. I do not buy that. Wait. A C subroutine to compute the moon's position, and it said it's too hard. I don't buy that it said it was too hard. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, people. Let's go do this. We're going to go to ChatGPT. I'm going to go new chat. I'm going to say, I'm going to go to GPT-4 because it's better. I'm going to connect it to the internet because it might need some modern things. Okay. You are a astrophysicist and expert programmer. I want to create a C subroutine that, what did you say? Computes the moon's position, that computes the moon's position relative to date, time, and location, period. Bang! Let's see what it does. It's complex. If you want to compute it, compute the Julian date, compute the position of the moon and celestial coordinates, convert the moon's celestial. To implement the process in C, you might consider using an astronomical library. So it identifies SOFA, MATH, or Math, and Studio. Here's a rough outline of what your code might look like. So it did it. It said it was hard, but it did it. And it might be, so it's possible that what I did there, so the thing that I did at the beginning where I said, you are an astrophysicist and an expert programmer. One of the things that I showed here is this thing, prompts.chat. So if you go there, what it teaches you to do is exactly what I just did. Let's go to it. Let me show you. Prompts.chat. Prompts. Oh. So it's called Awesome ChatGPT Prompts, but it's at prompts.chat. The first part of the document teaches you about prompting, but then the whole, most of the document is act as a blank, an English translator, a Linux terminal, a JavaScript console, an Excel sheet, a travel guide, a plagiarism checker, an advertiser, a storyteller. So these are all prompts that basically put ChatGPT into a specific mode. And when you put it in that mode, it gets really better at doing stuff for that, like telling it was an astrophysicist and an expert programmer, essentially filtered out all of the other bullshit that confused it potentially. So I don't, now to be clear, I am not an astrophysicist by any stretch. So it's very possible that the code that it just wrote here is bullshit, but it looks pretty decent, right? So a function to compute the moon's position. It seems to be doing some shit here. I don't know this kind of programming at all. I don't know this kind of math at all. It said the above code is just a skeleton. It may not compile as is. That's because the exact function names and parameters might be depending on the version of SOFA or other astronomy library that you're using. So it will give you documentation about what needs to be replaced. Like I could even say that. I could say, can you document which elements might need to be replaced and explain why. Here's a breakdown. Include SOFA H, the celestial coordinates library, basically. So yeah. I think it's possible to do it. And this starts to get into like learning about how these tools work, how large language models work, how they do what they do, and the kind of prompts that can sort of steer it in the right direction it's a really good skill to learn, because once you get it, you can do some remarkable stuff. Da, 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 da. Bow. This is awesome. More. Please stay calm, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Shannon will be just fine. I'm not fine. I'm a friggin' mess. I'm a mess. Why did you add the "you are" statement? So let me explain. This is the best way I can understand it. So Andrej Karpathy, who's the chief scientist, or I don't know, he's one of the founders of OpenAI, the folks that made ChatGPT. He spoke about a month ago at the Microsoft Developers Conference, and he was talking about why prompting works and how it works. And one of the examples that he used was, if you ask, so it's good to understand what ChatGPT has been trained on. So the base model of ChatGPT, the thing that why does it know all this shit? It knows all this shit because they basically trained it on all of the public internet. Like, they spent, I think, a year and a half or 2 or 3 years just sort of finding data sources. And so, like, everything from Wikipedia to all the blogs to all the websites to computer to college computers to just everywhere they could find data. And Sam Altman from OpenAI talks about the fact that they spent a lot of time on high quality data sources. And I think that's one of the reasons ChatGPT is so far ahead of everyone else, is that their base models just suck more than ChatGPT's do, than OpenAI's do. What he was talking about was, okay, if you ask ChatGPT to do a really complicated math problem, it will look at all of the data, and within all of the data, you're going to have a math professor that solved that math problem, and you're going to have like 30 students that tried to solve that math problem and got it wrong, right? And ChatGPT doesn't know the difference. All it knows is, you said, solve this math problem. And so it goes and looks at essentially all of the internet that it's got cataloged, and it says, there's this math problem and we need an answer for it. And it will go out and it just kind of averages together all this shit and then presents you confidently with an answer that may be wrong. Why? Because statistically, it probably pulled more of the wrong student answers than the right professor answers. So if you say, act as a Stanford advanced mathematics professor and solve this problem, you narrow the scope of data that it's looking at, basically. And like the metaphor that popped into my head is, you're in a helicopter over the Grand Canyon. And if you write a really generic prompt, go solve this math problem, your helicopter is really high and you're looking at all the little canyons and sub-canyons. You see all of the words of all of the internet. And so it's sort of pulling from all of that data. But if you say, act as a math professor from Stanford, it flies your helicopter down into a little sub-canyon that's just that kind of data. That's how I'm thinking about it right now. And that's why it makes a difference. You don't just have to tell it to act as a thing. That's a thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do is you can give it examples. So let's say, a lot of times people will say, write me a business letter, and it'll write this really formal business letter, and they're like that doesn't sound like me. And they'll spend all this time like trying to tweak the prompt. You can just have it copy. You can take, if you've got an email or a letter that you wrote that is it's your perfect tone, you like the way the salutation is and the way the end of the thing is and the call to action, you literally just copy your perfect email, and then you say, based on this email, you paste your email in, write me a new email to person X that talks about this subject in the tone of that email, and it'll do it. It's great at that. So that's the kind of stuff that you should experiment with. The other thing that made a huge difference for me, and this I talked about on a couple of lives now, but I think it's a really important one. Google sort of has us trained to do single transactions. You put in a Google search, you get back the results, and then you go click on their 47 useless links. Because because they're all paid for. They're all spam websites, right? SEO optimized websites. ChatGPT is much less like a single call and response. It's much more like a conversation. So don't think you have to get the prompt perfect right away. If you want to write a chapter of a book, start by saying, I want a writing, you're my writing coach, and I have an idea for the great American novel, and I'm hoping you can help me. Is that something you'd be willing to do? As weird as that sounds, it gives it context. So it starts to go, yes, I understand that. And in fact, if you want to write the great American novel, you might want to start with an outline. And here are 6 ways to do that. And it'll give you some ideas. And then you can go, no, I don't really want to start with an outline. I just want to tell you the main points of the book. And you tell it the main points of the book and you say, is there anything missing? And it might give you some ideas and you might like those ideas. And then, so it's very much this back and forth, like you're collaborating with a coworker that just happens to know fucking everything. All right. Hope that answers that question. Very well explained. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's see. How are we doing? I think I got all the questions. I think what I'm going to do, it's 9:00. I'm going to go do some stuff around the house. Dog needs to go for a walk. Let me go do that. I'm going to run for now. Great hanging with you all. I may come back later. Let's see how tired I get. If I get involved in a TV show, I might go watch a TV show. But I hope this has helped. This has been AI Learning Lab. Peace. I will see you all shortly. If not, I'll see you sometime tomorrow. But have a good night, everybody.